There's a reason why Virat Kohli in this IPL is getting criticized a lot more than someone like Rohit Sharma when it comes to strike rates and how he's getting his runs. There's a reason for why great players get criticized a lot more than an average player when there's a dip of form, even though the average player also performs the same way.
Now, of course, while playing international cricket or even reaching that level is a huge feat in itself, but there is something beyond that point that sets the great cricketers apart from the cricketers who have just played a couple of matches at that level. It takes a lot to sustain.
One of the main things that sets a cricketer aside from the rest is consistency, and this consistency doesn't only mean you score runs or pick wickets in your home conditions, but scoring runs and picking wickets in the most difficult situations away from home. And we have seen this with Virat Kohli when he couldn't perform in the 2014 tour of England. There was this cloud above his head. No matter where he performed in Australia or South Africa, people always came back to how he hasn't performed in England. And then he came back in 2018, he performed in England, and then people started respecting him a lot more because he truly did perform everywhere that he went to.
Now, another very important aspect of becoming a great cricketer, and this is something that we've also seen in a ton of interviews, is how your attitude is extremely important. Now, I keep coming back to the example of Virat Kohli in his early years when he was not that fit and he realized that if he had to be a top player at this level for a long period of time, then there has to be a change in how he went about his routine, especially his fitness regime and the diet that he had. Attitude also constitutes how you respond to failures, and I think a big aspect of that is your mental health as a cricketer. Not only your mental health, but also your mental strength and resilience to situations. Now, we've heard a lot of players talk about how at the international level, while most people are at the same skill set, it's the mental toughness aspect that sets apart a lot of great cricketers from just the average cricketers. There are lots of players who are not great because they didn't do well in red ball cricket and only did well in white ball cricket, whereas any greats that you see have done well consistently throughout all formats, and that's due to their attitude that they have towards each format and how they approach each game and how they prepare.
Now, without taking names, you've seen a lot of examples of players who come from Ranji cricket to the Indian cricket team. They score a lot of runs in the first 2 years and then they just vanish.
If you've made it this far into the episode, let us know if you think there were any players who, when they came to the international stage, looked very promising and looked on their way to become legends, but something happened along the way and they couldn't. Name them in the comments.
Because in this day and age where there are a lot of videos available of bowlers and batters, the opposition is always trying to get ahead of you, always trying to take a step ahead of you and be ahead of you in the game. And so you're always going to be found out, and if you don't evolve as a player, you are going to diminish even before you reach your prime. Two examples that I can think of who have done this excellently is Ashwin and Kuldeep Yadav. Ashwin, as we all know, from the day he started in the international circuit, he's always evolved, he's always played around with his action, he's always played around and thought about his variations. Almost every other season he comes up with a new one. Kuldeep Yadav is most subtle in that sense. He was dropped because of not performing, and a lot of people talked about the lack of pace. And the next time he comes in the IPL when he started performing, we saw the pace, and it was not just him bowling quicker once, but bowling quick while giving the ball a lot of air, which is what he wanted to do in the first place. He made changes in his action. And that's what players need to do. Players need to evolve as the game goes along because, like I said, you're always going to be found out. And if you don't evolve, if you don't make those changes, if you're not ahead of the opposition, you are going to disappear from the international circuit.
Now, the final aspect, and this is not necessarily related to the cricketer themselves, is the PR team. It's their marketing, how they are viewed in the public eye, especially in a social media generation today where people have so much recency bias and go by just the latest season that a cricketer has performed or not performed in. It unfortunately becomes very important for cricketers to maintain a good image, not just on the field but off it and in terms of social media.
This has been a video on what makes one cricketer better than the rest. Thank you so much for watching. Like, share and subscribe, all that good stuff. We have a lot of links in our description, Instagram, Twitter. We also have a blog. Go follow us there. We put out content every day on our socials. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.